We just want to invite you to the UnRuffled Ladies this afternoon. It's so good to be back with you again today. Uh, we have a very awesome topic that we're going to be talking about today. And I'm so excited about the guests that we have on for today. Celeste McKinney and also Alicia Howard is with us today. Uh, but before we go into, we just want to welcome you. We want to encourage you to please like and share. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. But uh, uh, make sure that you're inviting your friends. Okay. This evening, as we always say, what the word unruffled mean. We know that unruffled mean to be confident, it mean to be balanced. It means to be at ease. It's very important as we as ladies, especially as much as we have to do as a woman, to be confident and to be balanced. Sometimes we can put more in one thing than we do the other, and it causes us to be unbalanced. So it's very important that we be balanced, and then once that we are balanced, we will be at ease in our spirit. But today we're going to be talking about maximizing your potential, maximizing your potential. But before we do that, I do want to just admonish my two, as I always say, ride or die, and that is Pastor V and Sister Rosalind is always with me, and they just want to just tell you just a little bit more about what the ministry of Unruffled Ladies is all about before we go into our topic today.
Hello, once again, everyone. Welcome to UnRuffled Ladies. And we're so glad that you're here today. Also, keep in mind, if you're logging on and you see the area where you can comment, we want your comments. We even want you to drop us topics that you might want to talk about that might be a little bit, offbeat from what anybody really wants to discuss. Well, that's what we do here at UnRuffled Ladies, because that's the way that we, tap into other women and let them know that they're not the only ones that might be encountering some of the things that they're going through. All of us here, if we haven't went through it, we've come out of it, or who knows, we might be prepared to go through it. But I just wanted to let you know that UnRuffled Ladies, we've been around since 2016, ladies.
Yes.
2016, every second and fourth Sunday. There was a time when we were meeting at venues, hotel conference room, parks, and the show up was just awesome. And there was some awesome restoration and deliverance going on. I mean, it was really good. Those women would come in like weak little kitty cats and leave like furious lioness. I mean, it was awesome. So we are so glad that you are here today. And UnRuffled Ladies, once again, our motto, what we like to attach to what it means to be unruffled, is to be balanced, at ease, and confident. Balanced, at ease, and confident. And once you can get to that place, that's when you'll also be able to tap into what these young women are going to share with us today about maximizing your potential. Okay, so welcome everybody. It's good to have you.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right, I just want to add to Sister Rosalind about what we're about at UnRuffled Ladies. We're about empowering ladies, empowering women to go from pain to power and from tragedy to triumph.
Yes.
So, just know that whatever difficult situation that you have faced or you're facing right now is going to lead you on the path of power and on the path of triumph. So
yes,
don't give them, don't throw in the towel. Keep the faith, stay focused, and watch God will turn your situation around. So we just want to encourage you today, and I'm so looking forward to our topic on today, which we'll be talking about maximizing your potential.
Awesome. Once again, I do want to welcome our guests today, Alicia Ned and Celeste. Uh, we just welcome you. We thank you so much. We want our audience to please let us know if you're hearing us clear. Is there any static? Let us know. We really, really, really would appreciate it. Before I bring on either one of our guests on today, I just want to kind of go over what pretension really mean, what human pretension really mean. First of all, we have to understand that we all are born with a potential. There's a potential that is on the inside of us. But what it means is that human potential is the innate ability of every person to live and perform in alignment with their higher self. With their higher self. I like that. It is a combination of both outward and inner work. It's an outward and an inner work. So I want to start out by talking with Celeste. Celeste, of course, I've been knowing her for a long period of time. And when we first met and the things that I noticed she's doing now and what she have gotten into. And the reason why that we want to talk about your potential, because there are so many ladies that feel stuck. You feel that, hey, I've been here for a long period of time and there's no way. There's a lot of women, they're stuck on just waiting for welfare. And that don't have to be. If you would tap into who God have created you to be, your potential, it is the ability to move. It is it's your ability to do something, to make something happen. So I just want to talk with Celeste for a few minutes and let her share with you some of the things, maybe that she might want to share some of the things that she have experienced that caused her to tap into who she is right now, or what she's doing right now, because she's always had that potential on the inside of her. But sometimes circumstances circumstances causes you to rethink, to
Amen.
make you take another look at who you really are. And so I'm going to start out with her. You can just feel free to talk. That's what it's all about, just being transparent, and hopefully you're helping another lady. One of the other things that I was looking at Bill Winston one day, and he was talking about a acorn. He said a acorn have one seed. He said, but when you plant it, it multiplies. So when you bring out your full potential, it's not just for you, but it multiplies. It helps someone else as well. So go ahead, Celeste, and just kind of introduce yourself, where you are right now, what you're doing. Well, even you might want to start where you were and where you are right now. But first, I just kind of want you to introduce yourself, kind of let people know who you are.
Yes, absolutely. So everyone, greetings to everybody. As you know, my name is Celeste, and I was a part of Recharge Community Center a while back.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, at that point, what's coming back to my memory is what Dr. Gina mentioned when you feel stuck. So at that particular point of my life, when I felt stuck, there was a vessel that was used. Um, and that vessel that was used, that person's name just came across my mind. And I said, you know what? Take me to church with you. I said, take me to church with you. And lo and behold, there these guys was, Recharge. And when I went to Recharge, my life never got to the same. That was
Wow.
the of what I want to say, a shift in my life. As
Mm-hmm.
you go into church service, and you follow your parents, and your parents have their own church home, but as for me as an individual, I found a church home with Recharge. So at that particular moment of my life, back to what Dr. Dina said, when I felt stuck, I began to just receive the word that they were preaching, and receiving the prayers, and beginning to focus more on what God and who He was and His Son Jesus Christ. I began to focus more on that. And then my mind frame started to change, because it's definitely a mindset when you
Yes.
want to succeed in life. It's a mindset. So my mindset started to change, and I began to get desperate. I said, you know what? there's no way I'm going to stay where I am. There is no way I'm going to continue to live this specific life that I'm living now. There's no way I'm going to stay here. So I
Yeah.
began to get desperate at that point. And when you become desperate, you if for some reason all of a sudden you have this energy, you have
Yes. Yes.
you have this drive that comes out of nowhere to remove you from one situation and take you from the other. So that kind of, if that means anything or if that makes any sense, that's where I started to elevate as far as success. There was no way I was going to stay in the same position again. And I know some may be thinking, it's like, okay, well, how did you do it? What exactly did you do? And as normal as what I'm about to say sounds, it's the truth. And what I can tell you guys now is I prayed, I
Hmm.
prayed, prayed, and I prayed, and I continue to pray. And I want to give you guys an example of what I mean desperate. As a female, I like to shop. I don't know if anyone can relate to this. That urge that you get, it's like, I've got to have those,
Yeah.
or I have to have that new MAC foundation, or whatever it is,
Yeah.
urge you have. I can't get it right now, but I know I'm going to get it later. So that same feeling you get is when you want something, that exact same feeling you get is the exact same feeling you get when you want to elevate. When you
Yeah.
say, I'm tired of being where I am, I want something different.
Yeah.
That's a different scale of desperateness of wanting something, right? So
Hmm.
I just begin to pray. And another thing that comes to my mind is um, when I prayed, it's not about the material blessings. Those weren't the blessings. The material things weren't the blessings. The business wasn't the blessing. The whatever came along with businesses wasn't the blessing. The blessing was the valuable things of God, which is wisdom,
Yeah.
provision, discernment, knowledge, uh,
Hmm.
passion, effort, drive. That was the blessing. That
Hmm.
was that I received from God. And I believe those were my best prayers, the provision, the effort and the drive and the knowledge and the wisdom that God blessed me with, put me in the position I'm in now.
Yeah. 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 Awesome. I like that. I like how you use how you became desperate, and I like that word because that's the only way that you can move from point A to point B, and being in circumstances. And I know when I first met you, you had three small kids. You know, so you had to become desperate in order to get to where you are now. But before we go any further, I just wanted to introduce. I would love to say my daughter, Alencia. She's on with me today. It feels so good to have your children with you. So thank both of you all so much for being on. But with her and looking at her perseverance and the things that she have experienced, but yet, as you say, being desperate to pull out everything that God had put in her. So, listen, would you just kind of introduce yourself and just kind of tell a little about what made you? We're talking about maximizing your potential. What made you? What light came on to make you do and be doing what you're doing today?
So I will say that, my children have always been my biggest motivation. I had my son very young across the stage, high school with my son. I was 7 months pregnant with my oldest. And I had my second child by 20, and I had my third by 25. Um, so they have always been my biggest motivation. However, I would be in situations where I felt like I was stuck. Um, and I will say after my first divorce, and I had to move out and I had to move back home with three babies. Um, and, I was able to finally move on my own. Uh, the first thing that helped me really kind of get out of that zone was being realistic about where I was right now.
Yeah.
I think it's important to remove all delusion, be very realistic with yourself about where you are, and then decide where you want to be. I had to fully understand that right now is not forever. And sometimes it's going to feel that way. And I don't want to be dishonest with anyone to say that you're not going to have moments where you feel like right now is forever and I don't see your way out. Um, you have to know that right now is just a season.
Yeah.
And it's important to learn the lesson within that season, because if you don't learn the lesson within that season, you're going to continue to repeat that season. So I began to embrace the fact that, I'm going to be raising these kids by myself, and that's what it is, and that's okay. Were there really difficult days? Absolutely. But I knew this is not going to be forever. Something that my mom would always tell me, they're gonna grow up. They're not gonna be babies all the time. There
Yeah.
will be moments where things that you feel like you didn't get to do, you'll be able to do. Um, and I always knew that I wanted to go to school. I had plans to go to college prior to getting pregnant with my son. Um, and I decided to go back. I started taking to just one class at a time, two classes at a time. One thing
Yeah.
that I've learned: opportunity will always come. It's important that you're prepared for it, and never be afraid to walk through what you may consider a small door, because you don't know what's behind that door. What's
Yeah.
behind that door could be another door. I've never been afraid to take one position that may seem very small, but I'm going to soak up a lot of information. And that information could lead me to my final destination. One of the biggest things, that I feel helps you maximize your potential is always keep in mind the end goal. Today, it never looks like the end goal.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes where you're at currently can always it can really be discouraging. It can feel like I'm entirely too far. And that's why it's important to keep that end goal in mind. This is what I need to do right now to get here.
Yeah.
Um, I've always wanted to be someone that my children can look up to, someone that my children could admire. I always wanted to, my heroes were in the home. I didn't have a hero on TV or outside. Who I wanted to be and who I aspired to be, the people that I aspired to be around was in the home. It was my parents. I idolized my parents. And I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be that for my kids as well.
Awesome. Pastor B, you and Rosalind, y'all could just chop in anywhere. But I love how she said, because sometime in life, well, first of all, we never know what life is going to bring us. Most of the time as growing up, we have our life mapped out, what we're going to do and what how it's going to be. But most of the time, it never turns out to be just like that. And so sometimes you got to have something or somebody to push you into your full potential. And I like how she said she took her kids. That was one of the things that I had to do. I know when I was a single mother, it was my kid. When I got pregnant with my first oldest daughter, I was single as well. And at the when I was 6.5 months pregnant, the father that I was pregnant for just told me, "Hey, you need to go have an abortion." But I took that moment and said, "I'm going to start my own business. And when my daughter get here, she's going to have everything that she needs." It took persevering. It took me tapping into what God had created in me, which was potential, and make it work. And like she said, there's days that you think, "Oh my God," but you got to keep pushing. Anyway, go ahead, Pastor B. You want to say something? Do y'all hear me?
I hear you. I'm not sure, if she is muted or not, but knowing Pastor B, she finna get it together.
Go ahead.
So, you two ladies are very, very inspiring. I look at you, and like we all know, we've been together for a while. We might not know all the ins and outs of our struggles or our past that we've been down, but just knowing where you are today is 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 obvious that you did tap in to your potential and you did maximize it. as we were getting ready for the Unruffled Ladies, I pulled up a lot of information. That's what we do. Me, Lady Gina, and Pastor V, we research a lot of material. We read. We just don't get on here and talk and say what we want to talk and say. Number one, we're led. But I was reading some material about maximizing your potential and managing your life. Because come with potential, you have to be a good manager as well. But anyway, it says one of them was to quit tolerating. Quit tolerating. It says to attract new and better opportunities and results, first, you have to clear out what's clogging up your life to create the space for the better stuff to show up. Now, I can raise my hand on that one if we want to talk about maximizing potential. It didn't just happen one time. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but what I do know is it took me to focus on maximizing my potential more than once, more than just in a season. It was a constant reoccurrence that I had to keep doing, that you have to keep doing, right? So when it talks about getting rid of stuff that's clogging up your life, that was one of my hindrances. We all know that when you're blessed and for a fact, it's time for you to move. It's time for you to, stop tolerating. It's time for you to go to another level. It's time for you to tap into that stuck feeling that you're having. And when you you shake your head, it's like, no way. Like Celeste was saying, whom is my daughter? Whom is my daughter? Like Celeste was saying, you just within you tell yourself, I'm not doing it. I'm not staying here one way or another. I'm moving from here.
My life. Right.
This is not my life. Well, in the process of that, speaking of my own, there was some situation, things, people, experiences I just had to leave behind. I had to leave them behind.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't care, but I've always said this. I'm no good to you if I'm not the best that I can be. I'm no good to nobody. I have to work on me. So because I know that and I believe it, it made it a little bit easier for me to turn and go the other way, knowing that I had to leave them where they are. Right. So that's the one thing that gave me courage to do it. But at the same time, maximizing your potential also has to do with you realizing that when God created you, he broke the mold. There's nobody else like you. There's not another Arlencia. There's not another Celeste.
Yeah.
There's not another Dr. Gina. There's only one of us. And if it's just one of us, then, and I'm talking to everybody who has to understand this, God put a special talent inside of you. He put gifts and talents on the inside of you, and they're just not for you. So for you to stay stuck and not maximize your potential, you are depriving someone of what they need. And you might be the only person, you might not be the only person they can get it from, but you definitely have what it takes to make a difference in their life, right?
Yes.
So you have to realize that you were fearfully and wonderfully made. And yes, you are all that. Why? Because that's who God created you to be. That's who he created you to be.
Yeah.
So looking at these two young ladies right here and just hearing, they ain't even tapped in. I know for a fact, they haven't even tapped in to sharing with us, where they came from, what they have and what they have now, what they used to do and what they don't do no more, and how they became the mothers that they are today. Yeah. They haven't even tapped into that, but I'm so glad that they're with us today to share.
Yeah. So Celeste, going back to you again, because I know there's so many mothers out there, maybe your age or even younger. And I know one of the things that you said in the beginning, the way that you got started was through prayer, and prayer is the key. Prayer will unlock a lot of things, and I really relied on prayer myself. But one of the first steps. Tell us one of the first steps after you really start seeking God to say, okay, God, what do I, because I'm not here to stay. Where I am right now, that's not who I am. So what was the thing that motivated thing that say, I'm going to try this? And although maybe I don't know if it was something that you need, well, everything that we do is finances involved, some way or the other, finances involved. So just kind of tell us and tell the audience, as a young lady with 3 kids, how did you move from point A to point B?
Before, prayer is definitely key. That I don't want to use the word desperateness. I just want to use the word, I'll say drive. The
Mm-hmm.
mindset of, like my mother confirmed, I can't stay at this point right where I am.
Mm-hmm.
So drive that I had, the energy that I had in me to succeed, it made me want to start doing research. That drive that I had inside of me is like, I gotta find something else to do.
Yeah.
Because me sitting in the job that I did, I'm gonna call it a job because it was a job. It was a 9 to 5, a place that I didn't want to stay.
Right.
So me sitting in that organization, looking around, me, this is not it. This ain't it. I don't want to work for these people. So after that kind of really pierced everything in me, that thought, after that pierced everything in my mind, body, and soul, I start doing my research on how do you obtain your own business? What is a successful business? And then I
Mm-hmm.
start, what am I good at? What are my talents? What am I good at as far as communicating with people? What are my talents with people? And I figured it out. And there was an opportunity that came about after I did my research. I saw that opportunity, and my career changed.
Mm-hmm.
It went into the industry. No, that wasn't what I exactly wanted to do, but I knew the talent that I had with people. I knew that I would be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So from point of me being in that 9 to 5 and that feeling like, no, this is not where I'm supposed to be. I'm leaving. I'm quitting this job and I'm going somewhere else. Period. Right.
Yeah.
So from that point, I said, okay, I'm gonna start my career. I'm gonna get my license in such and such, and then when I finish doing that, I'm gonna go for it. I
Yeah.
started in the insurance industry, working for a particular company, but it was only for a specific type of license. I started off with that. And then when I start looking around at these other people and how successful they were, God put me in the arena of millionaires at that particular time. Wow, what do they do? It was an inspiration to me to see these people
Mm-hmm.
and how successful they were. And me thinking in my mind is like, that's where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw
In
that.
other words, you have to see yourself there before you get there.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
And it just ventured off from there. I mean, I can be extremely long-winded, but it definitely ventured off there. And I can tell you guys right now the potential that Dr. Gina and Jeanette, Sister Jeanette, and Felicia is speaking of, and what this live stream is about. Every last one of us have this potential in it. There's no such thing as, oh, this person, they're just
It's
successful because
better. Yeah.
or this person is better than it. No, we all have the exact same talent and potential inside of us.
That's
It's
right.
just our mindset to trigger that talent inside of you. It's your mindset that you need to um, I guess focus on to trigger that talent that's already there, and then
Yes.
you'll be where you want to be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Alyssa, you want to add to that?
Yes, I do agree when she said it's your mindset. I will say, after I had my third child, I kind of went into survivor mode. And when you're in survivor mode, you are very surprised at the strength and the will that you have when you aspire to just survive. And when I say survive, meaning I'm going to do whatever it is that I have to do to get where I need to be. Um, And once I gained that mentality, um, and I removed my pride. Also, another thing about being a survivor, you remove the pride that you have and
Yeah.
the thoughts of everybody
Mm,
else. Completely tunnel vision. I spend a lot of time just being completely tunnel vision on myself and my children. What is best for myself and what is best for my children. Um,
Mm,
and having that tunnel vision really gives you the necessary drive. I always want to tell anyone, you're going to fall. There will be moments that you're going to fall. I think a lot
yeah.
of times people paint this really easy picture that, I changed my mind and everything was great. That does not always happen. Um,
Mm,
it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take a lot of long nights. You're going to have a season of sacrifice. A lot of people don't really enjoy, it's nothing fun really about the season of sacrifice, if I can be
mm-hmm.
honest.
mm,
When you're trying to
Right.
maximize your potential, when you're trying to get to a goal, there is a season of sacrifice, meaning something is going to lose, whether it's your personal time, whether it's a few sleepless nights, whether it's, not being able to do fun things, whether it's moving your finances from leisure to, you know, your education,
mhm.
whatever it is, there is a season of sacrifice. But that's why I say you always have to keep the end goal in mind. It always starts with your mind. I always say you change your mind, you change your life. The day that you change your mind is the day that you can change your life.
That's awesome. And that is a fact.
Mhm.
That is a fact. The day you change your mindset, that's the day you change your life. You know, I
That's
know
right.
back to what I said earlier about with my first daughter, you know, when I got that you're gonna have to have an abortion at the 6.5 months pregnant. That was the day that I changed my mind. I said I'm not gonna work for nobody else. Because at the time I was working for someone else. I'm gonna start my own. And when my child I had to change my mindset, you know, and has it been easy? Along the way, I still have had some ups and downs, but still by me knowing what's on the inside of me, it helped me it keeps me moving forward. So I just hope that it's some ladies out there that's really hearing this today, that maybe even with COVID got you all stuck. You just maybe you lost your best job, and you're in a place right now you can't find a job like you had before, and you think life is over. I want to encourage you, life is not over. Every life is in you. Life is in you. You got to allow it to come out of you. The way you want to live, how you want to live, is in you. And you have to bring it out of you. And this is what we're talking about, maximizing your potential. Maximizing your potential. Go ahead, Rosla.
I'd also, ladies, keep in mind, audience, men, I'm sure there might be some men viewing our live, but keep in mind, sometimes fear seeps in. You might be
Yes.
afraid. I mean, at the age and the season I am now, just this past Friday, I had to step out on a really flimsy limb, but it was by faith. It was by faith.
Yeah.
And when I say sometimes fear seeps in, all I want to say about that is don't let it paralyze you. Just remember that sometimes you are going to be afraid to make a change in your life. That
Yes.
is not easy sometimes. It is not easy, especially when it involves other people. You are going to be afraid sometimes, and all I got to say is don't let it immobilize you, don't let it stagnate you, and more than anything, don't let it stop you. So what am I saying to do? Do it scared.
Yeah.
Do it afraid.
Yeah.
It's okay. Being afraid is not a sign that you should stop. It's not a
Are
stop
you weak?
sign. Are
Yes.
you weak? Yes.
Yes.
Being afraid, that's a human natural emotion that you're gonna have. All I'm saying is don't let it stop you. Do it scared.
Yes. Yes.
Do it while you
Yes.
scared. Just
Yes.
just do it. Just do it.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Also, Alyssa, I want you to share with our audience today. I know, as you say, you're a mother of three and a full-time job, working now with a husband. How you manage all of those things and still maintain uh, what I want to say, still maintain Just your thoughts.
Um, I will say, your circle is very important. But your mindset is also very important. I included my family in my goals. I was very transparent with my family. Um, I will say at least for the first, 15 years, I just decided to focus on my kids. At the time, I needed to really provide more stability for them. So I had to, minimize school as much as possible. But once my oldest got to about 15, I made the decision I'm going to go back to school full time. I'm going to work full time. I accepted, I think the first thing I accepted that it was going to be difficult. And I accepted that it was going to be, um, like I said, that sacrifice season. You have to mentally accept that. As far as managing my time, I informed my family, hey, this is where I am. I'm going to be taking, right now I'm taking 5 classes. So, and of course, working a regular 8 to 5, I informed them, hey, we're going to have to, mom's going to be working full time. And then 2 to 3 hours after 5 o'clock, that's going to be dedicated to school. After that, I have you. I can give you another 2 to 3 hours. And having that support from them has made it a lot easier. I have experienced moments where, not, of course, with them, but in previous situations, I experienced moments where I did not have that support. And that can be very mentally draining. But that is why I said in the beginning, you have to have that mindset. You have to decide that I don't care what it is, I don't care what it looks like. There are nights where I go to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm fully aware that this is my season of sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
My season of sacrifice is not permanent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just for right now.
Mm-hmm.
And a part of, like I always say, opportunity will always come. But if you are not ready, and a part of being ready, you may have to go through that season of sacrifice. That opportunity is going to miss you. So, you know, like I said, I work my 8 to 5 job. I take about 2 to 3 hours after that to focus on school. And then I have my family time. Depending on the assignment, I may be up, a little bit later, but I still try to give my kids that time. Is it hard to manage? Yes. Is it pretty difficult sometimes? Yes. And I hope I'm not coming off sad, but I want to be very, very realistic.
That's it. That's it.
Is it tough? Absolutely. You cannot cheat the grind. You can't cheat it. There's no way around it. There's no, I would hear stories about, when my mom said that, when she was pregnant with my sister, she would sit on a stool, pregnant, working to the wee hours. That was her season of sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to ask yourself, what happens if I stop?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
What happens if I stop? I am tired right now, but what happens if I stop? Do
Yeah.
I move any forward or do I stay where I am?
Mm. That's
So I
good.
will say, that's what motivates me because I have to constantly ask myself, if I stop right here, if I quit right here, where do I go?
Mm-hmm. 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 Celeste, you want to give us some more wisdom here? The main thing I'm hoping that there's other young ladies that is watching. They may not be watching right now, but later on, that would encourage them to don't stop, don't give up. If you in a situation where you don't want to be, don't make that be your situation. Just make it be what I want to say. That's not your permanent stop. You there right now, but you're not going to be there tomorrow. There's going to be a tomorrow, you
Yeah,
know. So give us
absolutely.
some more. Yeah, give us some more of your experience as a young lady, where you were and where you are now.
Yeah, I was listening to Sister Alicia when she was speaking of her children. That definitely was a star to me. It's like there's no way, I can continue on with what I was doing and think in my mind that I'm going to be able to provide for 3 children. But of course, there's other support that comes about when it comes to dealing with children and trying to survive and then moving on with your life and wanting to be successful. There's another side of that. And when you have that support, the support system, when you
Mm-hmm.
have support system in order, that is,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's extremely important as well. But what about those who don't have that system, let's just, you're by yourself and you got kids,
Mm-hmm.
what about that? Both sides are good, but the ones that don't have it, what do you do? Like Sister Valencia said, what happens when you stop? What happens when you stop pressing forward or going after that goal, going after whatever it is that you wanted to go after? What will happen? And when you think about what will happen, it's like, okay, my kid's gonna be on the street. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be, I
Yeah.
can't, you know. And what comes to my mind is that superpower that us women have. We are
Yeah.
nurses, cooks, we are, we're everything. For some reason, there's a different ability
Yes.
and a different ability with the female. It's like we can do everything at once. We can cook, clean, go to school, and nurture kids at all the same time, right? So,
Yes.
you're that individual that's alone and you don't have that support, that superpower has to, start growling up inside of you. And you have to understand that I'm the head here.
Yeah.
It's me. These kids are dependent on me. You have to want better for yourself and want better for your children. And then when you start thinking, oh, I want better for myself and want better for my children, and you start taking those steps to do that, sacrifice comes in. What
Yeah.
Miss Valencia starts saying, sacrifice comes in. It's like, okay, what do you mean by sacrifice? You got to let go of your friends.
Yeah.
You have to let go of going out every night. Let's just say
Yeah.
if you want to go back to school and be whatever it is that you want to be, and you have children and you have no support, you
Mm-hmm.
have doing the insignificant things and do
Yeah.
the significant things. And if that means getting a cheaper apartment, or if that means letting your car note go and getting a cash car, those are
Mm-hmm.
those are things that you have to do. Why?
Yeah.
Because you only have one income and you
Yeah.
have three or two kids living off of one income or whatever. So those are just, little examples of what sacrifices you could possibly. Everybody has
Mm-hmm.
their own route or situation that they're going through. You know what you need to sacrifice and you know what you need not to sacrifice on. But that support is extremely important of
Yes.
gaining, getting to that next level. And if you don't have that support, the sacrifice is extremely important to get to that next level. You got to do it. And if
Yeah.
it's like, one more thing, if it feels like uh, you're forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do,
Mm-hmm.
or if it feels like you're putting yourself in danger to do something you don't want to do to obtain what you need, then don't do it.
Yeah.
There is a
That's
positive
good.
route. There is definitely a positive route, a godly
That's
route.
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. That's good. Let us
That's
hear from
that's
you,
really good.
Pastor B. I know that you too raised three kids, pretty much by yourself. And we're talking about sacrifices and things that you have to do to get to where you're going. And then I want to come back to Alicia. I can't hear you. Okay, I think something is going on with her. Can anybody else hear her?
No.
Okay. Okay. Going back to Alicia, I know she have worked many jobs and she's just really good with doing what she do, but not being able to get the pay of what she's worth. And that's another reason why it's very important to get the paper, as they say, get a college degree for what you want to do. because a lot of times it's not the matter that you don't know how to do the work. You in other words, you are making somebody else's life good when yours not good. So what's some of the things, even with working with other jobs and doing, you know, high quality jobs where you should have been getting X amount of dollars, but because you didn't have the paper, you know, I want you to share that because it's important that we equip ourselves.
Hmm.
You know, it's very important that we equip ourselves for where we want to go and what we want to do. You know, Oprah always said like this: you got to put in the work. You know, you got to put in the work. So just kind of share that to encourage other women's how important that
Mhm.
is as well, especially young women that feel I don't need to go to school, I don't need to go to college. You need to go to something to equip yourself in whatever you're going to do. Maybe you may not go to a four year college, you know what I'm saying? But train yourself in something. Go ahead, Alicia.
Right. And that's just to anyone. I know that everyone says, college isn't for everybody, degrees or, I strongly believe in, whether it's college or some sort of certification, it's not that the paper matters, but it's your negotiation. It's your negotiating power. That's what it is. So in several positions, I would, be really, really good at my job. And, you know, I would go to my boss or, manager, hiring manager, and, really uh, push for trying to get a higher position. And I would always, continually be told, well, you're great, but you don't have a degree. Um, and that's kind of what pushed me to really go back to school and get my education. Um, I got tired of the no's. And this is why I say you always have to have that mentality of right now isn't forever. You have to be tired of the no's and understand that there's always a way out. There's always another option. I don't care how
Yeah.
bad it looks. I don't care what it currently is. I've been there where I only have just enough to pay my bills, or I don't even have enough to pay my bills. Um, there's always an option B. And it's about making time. I chose to make the time to go back to school because I didn't want to hear another no. Um, I didn't want to hear another person dictate whether or not I can get a position that I knew that I was qualified for. So I decided to go back to school to increase and enhance my negotiating power. Um, to all women, especially mothers, educate yourself in whatever it is that you choose to do. I don't care if you're doing lashes, go get a certification. I don't care if you choose to do hair, go get a certification. I don't care if you want to be a welder because or work offshore, go get a certification. Go get the necessary education that you need so that you can have a better negotiating power. Just as far as statistics, women are always paid less than men. That's statistically shown. It's
Mm-hmm.
important that, remove your pride and also be a sponge. I was okay with being a receptionist.
Mm-hmm.
And I was okay with bringing in the lunch because when I brought in the lunch to the meetings, I was paying attention to what they were saying. And that's why I say when you're in the
That's good.
season of sacrifice and when you're in that survival mode, I don't care what position I'm in. Get me in the room. That's the mindset that I've always had. As long as I can make it into the room, I can find my way. I can navigate through there. I
Yeah.
know with social media, um, social media always has us in comparison. You see a lot of the girls on social media, they have this, they look this way, they act this way, they live in this certain place. And sometimes, it makes you feel like, well, I don't have that. Or you're
Mm-hmm.
always comparing where you are to where they are. You know,
Mhm.
I have learned over time, keep your eyes on your own paper. And
All
I know
right.
that sounds very, very small, but keep your eyes on your own paper.
That's good.
Yeah.
Stay in
Yeah, that's
tune
real
with what
good.
you are supposed to be doing. Stay in tune with where you are supposed to be going. Your journey, my
Yeah.
journey and Celeste's journey are two different journeys. But if I spend
Yeah.
so much time focusing on what's on Celeste's paper, I'm gonna miss my mark. And a lot of times,
Mhm.
what I also have learned is that God loves you so much that, we always say the terms of God will never put more on you than you can bear. And we take that as in relation to pain, but it also relates to blessing. He's never going to give us
Yeah.
anything that we're prepared for. He's only going to
That's it.
give us that we can manage.
Yeah.
He's going to he blesses us things according to what we can manage. So if you're saying, I want to make six figures, he's going to say, okay, daughter, let me see how well you are preparing for six figures. How are
Mhm.
you managing your one bedroom? Are you grateful for your one bedroom?
Yeah.
That's it.
Are you balancing your one bedroom? Are you balancing your children? Are you balancing how you manage your time, managing what you consume? Are you taking
Yeah.
time out to educate yourself? And that's what he's looking at. And I strongly agree with Celeste when she said, heavy praying. I don't do anything without running it by God. I don't.
Mhm.
I usually at the first of the year or around my birthday, I lay out things that I want to do and I pray over it. And then I ask, what am I supposed to do next? And sometimes
Mhm.
some of you need to ask, what am I supposed to do next?
Mhm.
A lot of times our final goals are not just going to fall in our laps. They come through steps, they come through seasons, they come through small nuggets. My mom started off standing on a stool, sitting on a stool, doing hair in her sister's home. That was the start, but that wasn't the end goal.
Yeah.
But if she stopped at the start because it didn't look like her friends, or it didn't look like somebody that she knew, or it didn't look like what she pictured in her head, she never would have made her mark.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
it's highly important. Keep your eyes on your own paper.
Mhm.
That's awesome. That's good.
There's some points I'd like to bring out that both ladies have mentioned. Um, One of the points was, Lencia said, there's another option. There's always another option. And that ties into what Celeste said about that option includes a good way and a bad way. There are so many times women can feel so desperate, like that word Celeste started out with. Don't let your desperation push you in a corner to where now you're even jeopardizing the whole plan
Yeah.
because you feel so desperate, and you're doing things that counteract your productivity. As a matter of fact, it's pushing you backwards.
Yes.
So those 2 points. There are other options. Don't get so desperate to the point to where you start doing stuff you know is wrong. You know it's
Right.
wrong. Okay. Um, and the other one is when Alencia mentioned that when the statement is made or in scripture, when God says, when we hear that phrase, God won't put more on us than we can bear. I am so glad I heard her say what she said, because so many times we only take that as God loves us so much. He's just not going to give me nothing that I can't handle, or nothing
Right.
that is going to take me out. Sometimes it's exactly what she said. God is not giving you, he's not going to give you more than you can bear because you're not ready for it. You
Right.
can't
Right.
manage it. You can't
Right.
manage it. As Arlentia said, you wasn't prepared. You didn't prepare yourself. He was ready to bless you. God is always ready to bless us, but there's some work that got to be put in.
Yeah.
There's some work that got to be put in, and it's called preparation. Another big thing was she kind of talked around, Celeste mentioned it, but sometimes you have to self educate.
Yes.
You might not be able to go at the moment to school, to class, to get that certification. If that is the case, that's still not a reason to not pursue it. The
Yeah.
world we live in now is full of information. You can go anywhere and get the same textbook, the same material that they have in college, that they have in the certification. You know how I know? Because I did it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You self-educate. The only thing that you should accept that will hinder you and hold you back is your lack of discipline.
Yeah.
Your lack
Yeah.
of discipline. You have to discipline yourself. And I know I'm sitting here saying, discipline yourself. I know it's
Yeah.
not easy sometimes, but when you got that drive, when that drive is in you, like Celeste said, we as women, it's going to get done. It's
Yeah.
gonna get done. One way or another, you're gonna get it done. Because that drive in you won't let you settle for nothing else. It
Yeah.
won't let you settle for nothing else beside that goal and that vision that you know you have in mind. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring those things out that keep, like she mentioned, prepare yourself, get ready for what it is you know that you want.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Get
like how
ready
you
for it.
said self-educate.
Yeah,
Self-educate. You know,
yeah.
we as women's or anybody, we don't have no reason not to be able to educate ourselves on whatever we want. You know, it's not like
Mm-hmm.
you got to go to a university. I mean, you can do everything from just a push of a finger right now. So
Yep.
it's important to self-educate yourself into whatever you're doing or going to do or want to do.
Yeah.
Self-educate. We're getting close to our
Mm-hmm.
cutoff time. I do want to just kind of bring out some few things of that we should think about when we're talking about maximizing your potential. You know, and so the first thing that we need to do is define your goals. Define what you want to do. Who do you want to be? What kind of money you want to make? What kind of person you want to be? What audience that
Mm-hmm.
you want to, define your goals. Number two is making time for inner work. Making time for inner work. Some of us has been in such a bad situation into we're still overtaken by our past, and we need to let some stuff go. We need to dig on the inside, and that's what this Unruffled Ladies is all about. Is finding out who you really are. So make time for that inner work. You know, whether you're getting by yourself, taking a hot shower, a hot bath, whatever. Make time for you, so you will be able to think properly. Your mind is open to your new vision. Okay. Um, Number three is be kind to yourself. It's
Oh
very
yeah.
important as we as ladies and women, take out time to be kind to you, love you. An
Mm-hmm.
elder lady told me this some years ago when I was getting ready to make 50, and it always stuck with me. I was afraid to get 50 years old, and I was doing her hair that day, and she said, Grace, she said, getting older, she said, grace yourself getting older. She said, find time to put your arms around yourself and love you.
Mm-hmm.
She said, stand in the mirror and love on you. And sometimes
Yeah.
I find myself doing that. But when I get in that place where I feel alone, I feel like, things are just not, I find myself loving me. And just by me doing that, it give me another mindset.
Mm-hmm.
It make me think of myself in a new way. You know how you can just beat your own self down? So it's very
Oh yeah.
important that be kind to yourself. Take yourself out to eat. Take yourself whatever. Take yourself to a movie. Find something
Mm-hmm.
that you like that's going to make you feel good. I don't
That's
care if it's
right.
for 1 hour, it's for 30 minutes, whatever. I
Mm-hmm.
would tell Alyssa that all the time. Find some time for you. Love on you. And so
Mm-hmm.
she told me that, and that stuck with me even up to today. It's a work with a coach. That was another thing. I found out everybody need to have someone that can coach you. It's very important. Another lady told me this the other day. A matter of fact, she's a realtor and she's a high end realtor. But having a mentor, we all need some type of mentor, somebody that's gonna tell us what's wrong, what's good, and somebody gonna tell us what's right. But at the same time, help push us into our destiny. So it's very important that have a mentor, somebody that's gonna help push you. Hey, you can do this. We in this together. It's good to know that you have somebody in it with you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If nothing else, Lady Gina, at least that mentor will be able to help you activate a different train of thought.
Yes.
They will help you activate a different train of thought. And before we go real quick, because time is up, I do want to make one statement left about this maximizing your potential. See, when you begin to maximize your potential, things in your life is going to change and it's going to be evident. It might be a slow pace. It's on a journey. It's on the path, but the inevitable is going to happen. Change is going to happen, right? The
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
in your life, around your life, that views your life, even those you don't even know that's watching you. Let me tell you something. If there's anybody in your life who has something against, something to say, don't agree with who you're becoming or what you're doing, because it's best for you. And you're doing what it takes to become a better woman, a better person, a better mother, to get to your goals and your vision. And they coming against that, they not for you.
Yeah.
They only want you to stay where you are so you can be a benefit to how they need you to be. Don't let that stop you.
Yeah.
Don't let that stop you. Anybody
Yeah.
who is not celebrating your life with you to help you, not even if they're not helping you, but I said celebrate your life.
Yeah.
And the decisions you are making for yourself. If they can't do that, I'm sorry. They're not for you.
Right. Right.
They're not for
Right.
you.
Right.
All right.
Well, just before we go, I do want to give, I guess, both Lencia and Celeste, just some last words that you want to just give maybe to that young lady that she's feeling stuck right now. Just something that you can give to say to encourage her or him or whoever's listening.
I would definitely say that um, have a sense of urgency about your goals
Mm-hmm.
because tomorrow is at stake. The
Hmm.
longer you postpone it, the longer you alter tomorrow.
That,
Um,
that's good.
so have a sense of urgency. Have a very huge sense of urgency. It's imperative, and the people that are connected to you are affected by your procrastination.
Hmm.
Wow.
So the longer
Wow.
you continue to make excuses or reasons why, um, you affect their tomorrow as well.
Wow.
So your gifts are not just for you. Your gifts, your potential, everything that you have inside of you, your education, your knowledge, the things that come easy to you, but a wow to someone else, it is not just for you. It is for someone
That's right.
else. And the longer that you
Yeah.
procrastinate, the longer you alter their tomorrow as well. So it isn't just
That's
about you.
Wow.
right.
That's
That's right.
awesome. That's awesome. And I do want to say that she will be graduating on May 20th. She will be graduating from college. Yay, yay, yay. Did some did we lose Celeste?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I believe we lost. I'm sure Pastor B is watching for her, but we did
Yeah.
lose her. And congratulations, Valencia. So extremely proud. I mean, I have no words for just simply seeing you today and knowing how proud Lady Gina is and Apostle Ned is
Yes,
absolutely awesome.
yes, yes,
Absolutely awesome.
yes,
Yeah,
yes. Yeah, I
absolutely
told her the
awesome.
other day that she's getting ready to be her own to be an entrepreneur, have her own business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it's coming. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. Just want to say once again, thank you, thank you, thank you, our viewers. Please don't forget to like and share. Please, and also subscribe to our YouTube website. Uh, give us some feedback on some things that we need to do or not need to do. That's very, very important. But know that we have you in mind. We are thinking of you. Anytime that we're coming together and putting together these topics, it's because that we are thinking about you and how to help make you better. Once again,
Mm-hmm.
thank you and have a great evening.
Have a good evening, ladies. Bye, Valencia.
Bye.
Bye
Thank you guys for
bye.
having me.